Hey everyone, and welcome back. So got a lot of stuff to cover today, including stuff that we got a little bit more details on, and some stuff that was previously announced, including we have now the secret, sorry, my stomach's growling, I haven't eaten yet, hopefully I'll eat right after this video, but we have the secret titles in the Vinegar Syndrome lineup for this month, including their sale that is now going on. I'm going to cover that in just a bit, a couple more things I want to get to. First, there's a lot here. Some of this we can kind of go over pretty quick, but I just want to dive right in. So first up from Kino, I do want to mention a film coming out July 29th is a 4K release of the movie Curdled from the 90s, which has the lead character. She was the taxi driver in the Bruce Willis story in Pulp Fiction. She actually had her own movie that Tarantino produced, and it is the same character. That's what's kind of cool about it. So the 4K retails for $44.98, and it does have a separate Blu-ray release. So Blu-ray is included in the 4K release, and you can also get the Blu-ray separately. Blu-ray retails for $29.95, and again, that's set for July 29th. They have announced some of the details. So obviously it has a brand new transfer, has 2 new audio commentaries, and it also ports over one from 2004. So the one from 2004 is with the director and co-writer, and then the new one of the new ones is with the actress Angela Jones, as well as the director and co-writer, and then the other new commentary track is with film historian author Dwayne Epstein. We'll have 5.1 and 2.0 stereo, so that's the 4K, just has that, and then the included Blu-ray, as well as Blu-ray sold separately, has a couple more extras, including a new interview with actress Angela Jones, an intro and outro by executive producer Quentin Tarantino, behind the scenes featurette, Curdled, the original short film, Curdled, the short film second version, television playback pieces, deleted scenes, Danza Macabre rehearsals, as well as the theatrical trailer. And I really want to mention that one, outside the fact that it's actually a really good film, even though a lot of people actually don't know about it. But also, it was one of the favorite films of a friend of mine, a very, very close friend of mine, who passed away a few years ago. So, out of kind of memory for her, I definitely wanted to mention it, and obviously I will be picking it up in her honor. And now we move on to Ignite Films. Now, Ignite Films is the one who did the recent Reanimator 4K release. In fact, I just watched it not too long ago. In fact, here's my copy. It's actually still right here. I did get the one with the book. I didn't get the one with the bobblehead and all that stuff, but I definitely wanted this version. And I'd say the film looks and sounds great. I haven't gone through all the extras yet. I was going to do a review, but I kind of wanted to get through everything. So I don't know. I don't want to wait too long. If you still want me to do a review, definitely let me know. They're the company that also did the restoration of Invaders from Mars, the original Invaders from Mars, which I also really loved, and that was one where they literally saved the film. I think that film was deteriorating so much, and they did a really amazing release of that. And it's interesting that they went from that to Reanimator and everything. But they have announced, some of you did give me the heads up, and I did get an email from them that they are also going to do a 4K release of Bride of Reanimator. So they're working on the 4K restoration. Now this is set for next year, for 2026. But really happy it is in the works. So something to look forward to next year. And 2 more things before we get to the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. So first up, there's been an announcement from Arrow that they have a deal with Shout Factory. They're going to release in the UK the Golden Harvest films. So some of you remember Shout Studios. Shout Studios now. They made a deal with to release all these older Golden Harvest films, which obviously includes films of all kinds, but specifically the ones I'm most excited about is a lot of the John Woo films, including probably, A Better Tomorrow, Hard Boiled, and my personal favorite was actually one of my favorite films. I know I say that a lot, but it literally is like top 20. Is The Killer. So I'm super excited. So Arrow is going to be putting those out for the UK market, and they're working together on it. So it's like they're probably going to mirror each other as far as there's not going to be anything different as far as like, you know, transfers or anything like that. They will be identical. It's just obviously Shout's handling the, you know, North American market, and then obviously Arrow's handling the UK market. And needless to say, I will cover those, you know, as they get announced. And I'm not going to lie, because The Killer is one of my favorite films, I will get both releases, even though technically they'll be the same, but yeah. And speaking of Shout Studios, or more specifically Scream Factory, they announced a new box set coming out on, wait, when was this set for? July 31st. Now, this is a website exclusive, and it actually is limited to 2,500 copies. It's a Mario Bava Blu-ray box set. It has 12 of the films on Blu-ray, and the Blu-rays, obviously, because it's, you know, Scream Factory, they are region A locked. Retails, it's a website exclusive, so it's only 100. Only what I mean is the price is locked in at $179.98. Again, limited to 2,500 copies. The first 1,000 orders get an exclusive book and a poster that'll come with the artwork on it. So yeah, it's a 52-page softcover book, if you're one of the first 1,000 to get it. So it comes with, let me go over the films real quick. Black Sunday, the international version. The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Black Sabbath, the international version. Kill Baby Kill. Knives of the Avenger. $5 for an August Moon. Sorry, $5 for an August Moon. Slow down, slow down. Roy Colt and Winchester Jack. 4 Times That Night. A Bay of Blood, Baron Blood, Lisa and the Devil, as well as the alternate cut of The House of Exorcism, and then finally Kidnapped. Again, 12 Blu-rays, and I believe they're all in their own cases, like they've done in a couple of their other releases. Now, as far as extras go, these do have varied a little bit, not too much. Most of the films do have, at the very least, 1 or 2 new commentary tracks. Now, there's zero word here about new transfers, so I'm guessing that they are using the pre-existing transfers, which I think is why it's a Blu-ray release only, not a 4K release. And that's kind of the downside, you know, because they are transfers that have been around for a while. And some of them are still pretty decent. You know, I think they'll hold up just fine. But yeah, I think a lot, like, I know when I saw the initial announcement before I read anything, I literally thought it was a 4K box set. And I was just like, oh, and unfortunately it's not. So yeah, and that's probably why it's limited to the website as well. And I can't blame them for it not being a 4K release. I'm sure they don't have any choice, because I'm sure this is a licensing deal with the Italian distributor, and that's probably all they could get for right now. Hopefully, somebody somewhere eventually does put out some 4K releases of a lot of these, if not all, hopefully all of these Mario Bava films. So that is up for pre-order right now at the Shout Factory website. Only 2 things left. I want to save one of them for the end, just because it'd be real quick, but also some cool stuff that's coming out down the line. But first, I definitely have to mention, now that we know what the secret titles for Vinegar Syndrome are, and obviously their sale that's going on this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, depending on when you're watching it. So it does go through, it's on right now, and it goes through Monday night, May 26th until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, so just before midnight, again, Eastern. But yeah, so I definitely wanted to go over them very quickly. So obviously the ones that we already knew about that went up for pre-order already was The Golden Child, Dirty Work, Jade, all 4K, with The Golden Child being Vinegar Syndrome Ultra, as well as a cinematograph one for Swimming to Cambodia as a Blu-ray release. So now we have a couple of new titles. Where should I begin? Let's start with the Degauser Video one. This is their line that releases films that were shot on video, including a lot of ones from like the 80s and early 90s and things like that. And this is definitely one from, what year was this? 1987, and it is indeed Criminally Insane 2, the sequel to the first one, which they did put out on video last year, wasn't it? I think it was last year. Now, the first one was shot on film. This one was shot on video. Up for pre-order right now for $27.99, and it will be a region-free Blu-ray. We'll have a couple of extras, so I'm gonna move a little bit fast during a couple of these, but definitely a nice release. I've never seen the second one. Obviously, I've seen the first one. I've never seen the second one. I didn't even know there was a second one. So, and if I'm not wrong, I believe Isn't it the same actress in the lead? Yeah, Priscilla Alden reprising her role as Ethel. So yeah, actually that's cool. Yeah, I've never seen it. I should check it out. Okay, let's see. Let's move on to. Oh, you know what? I should mention these real quick. So they are doing a quick re-release of 3 of the previous 4K titles. Now they're identical. They're not like new transfers or anything like that. They're just slightly re-releases with new slipcovers. So first one is a 4K release of the Amityville Horror. Next one is their 4K release of From Beyond. And then finally their 4K release of Showgirls. And each one currently is 50% off. So each one is $22.49. So if you've never picked any of them up, now's a good time to get those. And next up is their other cinematograph line. I don't know why I struggle with that. I shouldn't. I really shouldn't, because I think it gives me a bad luck for being, such a film fan. But it's a 4K release of the movie Breathless, up for a pre-order for $39.99. Now this is a Richard Gere film with which there was a Blu-ray release, not from them, but one of the partner labels. Was it last year or something? And then Arrow put out a 4K release, if I remember correctly. And I think this might be the same thing. I think it's literally the Arrow release. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't say anything about a new transfer. So I assume it's probably similarly the transfer anyway, similar to the Arrow release. But if you never picked that one up, obviously here's a chance to pick up the 4K. Next up is a new title in their Vinegar Syndrome Labs line, retailing up for pre-order for $29.99. From 1973, it's a film with Richard Roundtree, the great Richard Roundtree, called Charlie One Eye. It's going to be a Region A locked Blu-ray, so just heads up on that. I as I mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of like blaxploitation films and everything from the 70s, from the early to mid 70s especially. So yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to picking up. Next up, let's move over to the Vinegar Syndrome archive line, which is Iron Angels 1 through 3 for pre-order for $37.99. It's a Blu-ray set, region free. Good, it's a region free Blu-ray set. So 3 Hong Kong films. First one from 87, second one from 88, and the third one from 89. Yeah, so definitely some more Hong Kong films coming from them. I don't think I've seen these, so if you have, let me know. I've actually enjoyed a lot of their Hong Kong releases that they put out, and several of them I was not familiar with, so they were definitely nice surprises. And then now we get to the final 2 Vinegar Syndrome titles. These are the two big secret titles. Both 4K with included Blu-ray. I believe this first one is a Paramount, so it's got to be Region A locked. Yeah, so the included Blu-ray is Region A locked. For pre-order for $44.99 is indeed a 4K release of Let's Scare Jessica to Death from 1971. This is actually really great news. I haven't seen this in a while, but it's a really, really good film, including a nice set of extras with some commentary tracks and a couple of interviews. And this is coming in a nice set, actually. It's kind of one there's not super deluxe, but it's got some extra stuff, including a 40-page perfect bound book, which is nice. So that was a very cool announcement. And then the other one, which I think I did mention in a previous video that I'd heard it might be this, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. But I'm so excited it actually is. I can't tell you how happy this makes me. It is indeed a new 4K release of George Romero's The Dark Half, which I really think is one of George Romero's more underrated films. It's actually one of the few studio films he made. In fact, he made it at Orion, and he made it just as Orion was going bankrupt. In fact, I believe for part of the film, they literally ran out of money. But thank goodness he managed to finish it one way or another. So it's a 2-disc set, 4K disc, and a Blu-ray. Blu-ray is Region A locked, just a heads up on that. And I did so it's got a couple of new things, which I'll just mention very, very quickly. Just a couple new interviews with the first assistant director, the cinematographer, a featurette on the shooting locations, and then an excerpt of an interview that George Romero did from 1991. And then the rest of the extras that I did do a side-by-side are indeed, as far as I can tell, all the extras that were on the older Scream Factory Blu-ray release are also on this release as well, so you're not missing anything. And it also comes with a 40-page bound book with a bunch of writings on it as well. Retailing for $46.99. I don't know if I said that already, but yeah, this is the one I'm super excited about. And in fact, I rewatched this last October. So that's it for Vinegar Syndrome, right? I'm not missing anything. Obviously, again, they have their sale going on this weekend, so I took a quick glance and stuff, and there's a lot of really great prices on a lot of stuff, including some of their older Vinegar Syndrome Ultra lines, their big 4K releases. So you may want to take a look if you haven't picked up any of those from before. So anyway, all right, one last thing, and I want to say this for last just because it talks about some future releases or ones that are in the works. So we have some news from Synapse. Don May Jr. Of Synapse did an interview with Dead Pit, and Michael Felcher actually jumped in about halfway through. Now, I was actually going to listen to it and take notes, but I wasn't able to. So I have to give a massive shout out to Wes Reviews on the Blu-ray.com message boards, who did a fantastic breakdown of some of the key stuff. So I have to give him probably doesn't watch my channel, but just in case, definitely want to give him a shout out. So again, this is from an interview at the Dead Pit live stream. First up, do want to mention Don had some health problems, seems to be doing better, which is great to hear. All right, as far as movies go, let's see. So an update on The Deadly Spawn, as far as the 4K and Blu-ray. It's done. They're just waiting on some cover art to be completed. We'll have 2 different versions of the film with 2 different aspect ratios, as well as different audio mixes. So that'll be interesting. I assume the different aspect ratios is one probably be 1.33 to 1, and the other one most likely will be 1.85 to 1 would be my guess. So I assume sooner rather than later we should get the pre-order up for that. Next up, and this was not something I was expecting, Synapse will be releasing all 12 of Andy Sedaris' movies in 4K, including Malibu Express, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and Picasso Trigger. I never would have expected that. I probably would have expected and they got Blu-ray releases several years ago. In fact, they may have been upscales. I don't remember, but I never would have thought we would have had any Andy Sedaris films in 4K. So that's actually kind of cool. Next up is a film I was not familiar with. I actually had to look this one up. Is the movie Tag the Assassination Game from 1982. Apparently they've done the transfer and they're just awaiting the authoring. Took a while because they had some audio issues that they had to get some better source from the Library of Congress, but it took forever. They said it took 7 months for the Library of Congress to send it to them. It's probably not a 4K release, it's probably a Blu-ray release. I think it would have said 4K release. But I had to look it up. It's actually directed by Nick Castle, who, was played Michael Myers in the original Halloween. But he went on to direct a bunch of films, including one I love so much, as I'm sure some of you know if you've been watching my channel for long enough, The Last Starfighter. So very, very, I didn't know this was his first film, so that's cool. So looking forward to finding out more about that one. Next up, the movie Street Trash, the original one. I guess it was a remake that Vinegar Syndrome put out just a few months ago. But the original Street Trash is going to get a new 4K release. 4K is finished. They're just awaiting authoring, so hopefully that pre-order will be going up soon as well. Frankenhooker is going to get a new 4K release. It's being worked on as we speak. The 4K release of Intruder, so they've done the scan. Obviously they're doing work on that, so we'll obviously find out more about that. And also the making of that came with the Blu-ray release that they put out several years ago. That Michael Felcher did is, Felcher is doing a new remaster of his original making of documentary for that release. So that's cool. Yeah, maybe that's one we'll get later this year. They have decided to do a 4K release of the movie The Kindred. Now, they did put that out on Blu-ray 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So they are actually going to go back and do a 4K release of that one. Moving on to Just Before Dawn, which they are doing a 4K release of. They have done the 4K scan from the original camera negative. Now that one is currently in a weird battle. I'm not going to get into it with Dark Force Entertainment. I think each one is claiming they each have rights. I'm not getting into it only because I have no idea what's going on here, but that's a really good film, so I hope somebody somewhere can put out a 4K release of it. The new 4K scan of Prom Night, the original Prom Night, has just been completed from the original camera negative. Obviously, they still have to do the rest of the work for it, but he did say that they're hoping they might be able to get something from Jamie Lee Curtis. Apparently, she was actually going to do a commentary track for their Blu-ray release many years ago, but scheduling conflict happened, and so she couldn't do it. So they're going to try and maybe get her again. I don't know if she'll do a commentary track, but even an interview would be cool. Next up, they are planning a 4K release of Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, but that is still like way off. They haven't even like kind of started work on that yet. They want to put out new editions of Rock and Roll Nightmare and Black Roses, but unfortunately, they're still looking for the elements for them. If they can find them, they're definitely going to do them. So hopefully, those can be found. Almost done. Just a couple quick updates from Michael Felcher on some of the stuff that he announced before, some of the stuff that he's working on. Hello, Mary Lou. Prom Night 2 is obviously they're working on it now. They are hoping to locate an alternate cut, which I think it was an early cut of the film, which they would love to include. I wouldn't expect that to be in 4K, by the way. I think it would just be a nice extra, but they do want to find it so they can include it in some form. And Felcher said he does actually want this to be at least initially, a deluxe set, just like their Trick or Treat set, with a whole bunch of extras and everything. So that'll be cool. Fright Night 2, the film has been scanned. Obviously, still a lot of work to do. They would like to get it out before the year is over, but they don't want to promise. Obviously, get the release right, whether or not it's the end of the year or the beginning of next year. At least it's coming. That's the good news. So I'm definitely happy about that. And then finally, a quick update on the Creepshow 2 documentary that he's working on. Which I'm guessing is going to be a Synapse release, just like the Just Desserts documentary. So when he did confirm that it's not going to be part of the Arrow Creepshow 2 release, it's going to be its own thing, which again is good. He's been working on it for a long time, and he's even going to have an interview, obviously was done many years ago, with George Romero on the film. So yeah, I'm really excited about not just Creepshow 2 being put out by Arrow, but also this documentary as well. All right, that's everything. I got to go eat. My voice is already, I'm dry. I need some water. Didn't really think I'd be covering this much in this video. Actually, I thought it was actually going to move pretty quick, but I really wanted to go over a lot of this stuff. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. And yeah, oh God, so much to look forward to. Much to the chagrin to my wallet, which, anyway. But yeah, so that's everything. Yeah, again, let me know your thoughts. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.